Legionnaires of the Lariat, welcome back. This is I Still Call It a Lariat, and I'm your host for tonight, Mr. Showtime, Michael Wright. I'm here with, as always, the one, the only Hound, and my tag team partner extraordinaire, stevezapf. How's it going, fellas?
Hello, Michael. Good to see your face and hear your voice. Hello, Steven. It's okay to see your face and hear your voice.
That was extra deep today. I felt that one.
Like it was very Barry White.
Ooh.
I apologize.
I'm feeling
No
romantic
need.
right now. Yeah, don't apologize for that because I'm feeling all types of romantic now. Ooh, got me down deep on that one.
Now that we've officially made it weird, let's introduce today. We are here to predict and preview Survivor Series War Games.
War.
I do have to say,
War.
Huh?
I do have to say, a little disappointed that the War Raiders aren't on here. I feel it's right there, low hanging fruit, guys. Come on, let's get a segment or something like that with them here. They got to show up somehow. Like, it's right there in the name. We'll go through this all, but as always, let's see what everybody's most excited for. Steven, what are you excited? What gets you jazzed for this?
I feel like just saying the men's War Games is too easy. I'm actually kind of excited for LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. You and I have, we've all kind of been saying for months now that LA Knight needs a feud that can actually define this U.S. title run of his. And Shinsuke is one of those guys that if they do this right, could define his U.S. title run.
Back from the dead, Shinsuke Nakamura is
Yes.
the one that's going to define this?
Maybe.
If you say so, Steven. Hound, what about you, bud?
Well, I was going to also say LA Knight, but truthfully, I'm interested to see what happens with the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
Does Sheamus finally get it?
Does he? I don't know. I want to see Braun continue on his I like him having a dominant streak, and that one should be a good one. There's gonna be a lot of pain in that one. It's like, what's your prediction for the fight? Pain. There's not much left. I'll just throw out Gunther, Damian Priest. I like their first match. I think this will be a really good one. Steven, you said just saying the men's War Games is kind of weak. What about that is most exciting for you? Just off before, without previewing it, give me one piece de resistance, an appetizer, as you will. Appetizer.
Appetize. I mean, I like War Games in general. I love the idea of War Games. I do hate that, especially since it's come to the main roster, but I think even in NXT, they kind of watered it down a little bit. And I'm sure you guys can attest to this. I loved War Games when there was a top on the cage.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do it anymore. And I miss that. But I love the idea of the original bloodline being together, that they're the only ones that they can trust at this point.
Except for Sammy. And you throw CM Punk in the mix. There's nothing trustworthy about this whole match.
No, yeah, it's the most not babyface group of babyfaces ever. It's Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk. The only true babyface in this whole group is main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, but he can't be trusted either.
No,
not with this group. I don't want to spoil the full review. Hound, do you have something that you want to quickly touch on for that match? Just what makes it special?
The fact that we're going to see Jacob Fatu have access to 2 rings in a cage simultaneously.
Oh, that's actually pretty exciting. I'll
actually
that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
That was a great answer, Hound.
Nailed it. It's
some people call them great ideas. Hound just calls them ideas.
I have no response. That was perfect. Yeah, I would like to see. Honestly, I want to just see this whole match devolve into just mayhem, because it does. I could see the Team Reigns fighting at points in this, just because they can't get out of each other's way. I want to see something special from that. let's kick it off. We're going to kick this review off with the U.S. title match. We have Shinsuke Nakamura back from the dead, the abyss of the abyss of the house show Shadow Realm versus champion L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yes.
Steven, what you thinking, bud?
So, even though I said that, I think Shinsuke could help at least define this this run. LA Knight still keeping the title. This is no brainer. There's not enough build for it for me to believe that Shinsuke would be taking the title off of him, and like I kind of feel like they threw this title or either the IC title on here as almost like a consolation prize. Like we don't get the second world title on here, so we're gonna get this instead.
We still get the world champion, but like, yeah, this one is the SmackDown before pay-per-view written all over it. Yeah. Hound, what are you thinking here? What's excites you? What's your pick? Where are you going with your head?
So I am a gigantic fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. Always have been. I think he's phenomenal in the ring. I've always loved his very eclectic style and the fact that if he chose to, he'd just kick somebody's head off, which just seemed like the ultimate flip side to a coin for me. Having said that, as much as I'd love to see Shinsuke with the United States title, LA Knight's going to keep it.
There's definitely some there's going to be some surprises on this card. And I find it hard to believe that we're going to get 3 retentions. I just don't know where the title shift happens. I don't think they've done enough to build up Shinsuke. I wouldn't be surprised if they had Shinsuke go over here just because no one sees it coming, and then kind of have it play back and forth a little bit. They just did that hot potato a little bit with the IC title, and it could be the U.S. title's chance for this. But with all that said, I'm going to say LA Knight. Yeah, it just makes sense. Like, I could see them running this back and maybe then handing it over to Shinsuke for a rubber match. I don't know. He hasn't been back long enough to be a legit threat. I know that he was a legit threat before, but he's just been a member of the job squad for a long time, and then a ghost, a literal ghost. So we got that one. Though I'm excited about that match. I actually, like, in all honesty, I enjoy watching Shinsuke wrestle more than LA Knight. Not to throw any shade at LA Knight or anything like that, but Shinsuke's just great. He's a real good worker, and I don't know what he's done to get in the doghouse as he has, or just fall out of favor. I hope this is the beginning of a resurgence for him.
It would be nice. It would be nice to see Shinsuke get some feature time again.
Yeah, like he brings a different element than anybody else on the card right now, the roster.
I think they just didn't have anything for him, in all honesty. And like, I hate to say it, but we've kind of been saying this, that some of the stuff in like as high as the upper mid card, they kind of, it gets a little muddy up there. In the mid card in general, it gets muddy, and in the opening, it's just, here you go, guys.
Yeah, that's why it really excites me about these new women's titles coming through, because they'll then push 2 additional storylines for the women. Because I feel like even like the women's title, the women's division without a title, they're just an 10-person match every time. I have to take a quick TV timeout because I've been saving something for you guys. And I need to see the reaction from the 2 before this. So I don't usually talk about my family on this show, but my eldest son turns to me the other day and goes, "Hey, Daddy, did you know that the big bad wolf was actually a good guy?" And I just stopped and turned to him and go, "Tell me more," as he goes down the rabbit hole of why he was misunderstood and he was actually the good guy, And I can't tell you how much that made me relate to this show. And every time I try to spin that web, it actually absolutely killed me.
I love it. I love that so much.
Didn't he also hit your wife with one of your jokes? And by one of your jokes, I mean your only joke. Like it was like, don't be a rhinoceros, and it's like, you're a rhinoceros.
Oh, constantly. That's constantly said throughout this this household. But I had to just drop that in there for you guys.
I love that. I love that so
that's amazing.
much.
It was a funny one.
Makes me love my nephew even that much more.
Can I continue the TV timeout for just a moment? Because you saying that, have you introduced your son to Star Wars as of yet?
A little bit here and there. We watched the first two movies, episode 4 and 5, and we've watched some of the cartoon a little bit.
So when you put him through all of it, send him down the rabbit hole of Jar Jar Binks being the most powerful Sith of all time.
It's my favorite Star Wars theory. It makes everything make so much more sense.
Yeah,
him being the drunken master, and it's just so good, folks. I know that we on a little tangent. I couldn't help myself. I needed all three of us to be here to introduce that. But if you haven't heard about Darth Jar Jar before, a rabbit hole worth falling down into, because it makes everything make sense. And what's called George Lucas says in the beginning that Jar Jar is the key to everything, and then he just vanishes into oblivion. Oh yeah, he was the bad guy. He was the whole time.
See, I love it.
See, it's actually my second favorite Star Wars theory. My favorite Star Wars theory is that Indiana Jones are just fever dreams that Han Solo is having while he's frozen in carbonite.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That is easily my favorite one, and knowing that like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are such good friends that I'm like, yes, yeah.
That's what happens when you reuse actors. They can do anything with them.
I love it.
Back to your regularly scheduled programming. For the next one that we're going to cover today is the Intercontinental title match. We have Ludwig Kaiser. We have Sheamus versus the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker. Hound, what are you looking at in this match?
I would love to see Sheamus get his Intercontinental title finally. I really would. And I would love the finish to be him brogue kicking Braun Strowman as he goes for the Super Spear, just because I think the visual of that, because I think they'd pull it off really well together. I think Ludwig Kaiser is taking the pin. And as much as I want Sheamus to have the belt, and I hope I'm wrong here, but I think Braun's going to retain, and I really hope I'm wrong and it goes to Sheamus. But the reason I say I think Ludwig takes the pin is because I think we're going to get heading into one of the big four, or actually this isn't one of the big four, is it?
This is one of the big four.
Yes.
Is it one of the big four? Crud, that kind of puts a... I think we're going to continue the Braun and Sheamus thing all the way up to the Royal Rumble. And if Sheamus is going to get it, I think he gets it at the Rumble. So that's why I think Ludwig takes the pin from Braun. Braun gets a longer title run. And I do think eventually they're going to put that belt on Sheamus so he can complete his collection. But I'm going to take Braun Breaker.
This doesn't feel like a big four card, now that you say it like that.
Yeah.
Like, not throw too much shade, but this feels a little lackluster for one of the big four. Even like Elimination Chamber. I mean, I guess that was kind of on the weak side too. All right, maybe it is. I don't know.
So I was actually thinking about this earlier. This is kind of like the number 4 of the big four, right? Like, I mean, it's one of the big four because it's one of the 4 original ones when there was only 4 pay-per-views. But realistically, like, Survivor Series the entire time has always been like it's a gimmick show.
Sure. And that's the same with Elimination Chamber, as I was looking at that, because you have 2 Elimination Chamber matches, but there was only 4 matches on Elimination Chamber back then. So like that one even felt a little bit weaker than this one, even though it had Rhea versus Nia, and like that match was like Rhea was so over in that match. That like I feel like that raised everything up, and then and like it was the tag team title match. Like the world title wasn't even defended on that one.
Well, it seems like and the four again, the big four. It seems like almost all of them are about to go to 2 days. At least Survivor or at least SummerSlam and WrestleMania are going to be 2 days. I still theorize that Royal Rumble should absolutely be 2 days. Like you should have a Rumble on one day and a Rumble on the next day.
Yeah, it's just two really long matches to have on the same night.
Exactly. And like with this, honestly, even with Survivor Series, as much as it's one of the big four, kind of how I just said, it's kind of it's always been the weakest of the big four. And it kind of has this area where the amount of content that they're putting out right now, as far as WWE goes, you've got this now, then you've got Saturday night's main event. Then you also have whatever the December pay-per-view is. Then you have probably, if not a January pay-per-view, you have the Royal Rumble and then Elimination Chamber, then Mania. Like there's a lot of stuff coming out.
I could see, yes, I think that's all right, Steve. I could see this really going anyway here because I could see Braun winning this easily. I could see Kaiser kind of winning this because they've been really building him up recently to a point where he's kind of a serious contender for this match. Then just like completing the set, as you said, is the other one where I really could see it going that way. This one, like I could also see this one being where they get to the point where we need someone to drop a title tonight, and just dropping it to Sheamus or Ludwig could be fine without Braun taking the pin in that math. I was trying to look real fast because Steven, I haven't fully watched Raw from yesterday. Was there any go home math in that show to help me out make this pick?
So that's how this match came about. Is they had a Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser singles IC title match, and Sheamus was mad because the week before, obviously, Ludwig screwed up his.
Yep.
And it just broke down into a super melee. But like no one got the advantage out of the end melee even. So it's not like one guy did more or one guy was left laying out or, like the champion doesn't still look strong going into this. He's Braun Breaker. He always looks strong.
Sure. Boo earns. I was hoping I'd get a little bit of go home math to help me make this decision. Because I'm afraid I'm just going to go with Braun now. Because I do think he's going to be the one that wins this. But if Braun just wiped out the other two, and was like kind of standing over them, I could see him losing because like that was his moment to look really strong, and then he loses this match like Sheamus pins Ludwig or something along those lines. I'm going to stick with Braun. I think he retains here.
I am also going to echo this. I know it's a brand new idea. We keep doing this. But I just don't see this as being the point to take this title off of Braun. He's been doing really good work. I do agree with you guys. Like this could be a point where you get. I think out of the three of them, other than Braun, it might be Ludwig. I could see Kaiser. I could see Kaiser doing this. The only way I could see this working out though is with the way they've been telling the story for Gunther, is if Priest beats Gunther. I feel like it would be like one of those, like the dissension that they're giving between Kaiser and Gunther would be like, you're the ring general, but I'm the champion now. Like, how does that, like, it doesn't math anymore.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I like what they've done recently with Ludwig, where they're talking about it's time for him to forge his own path and be that champion. And I think he'd be a great intercontinental champion. So like, I get all of that. But I just don't see them pulling this title. If they didn't just pull the title off him and then put it back on him, I would probably think differently. But WWE is not much of it's not a Waffle House. without the whoa Usos don't pop. But the like they don't usually waffle too much when it comes to titles. Like when they might take a title off quickly, but they don't go back and forth all that often in that sense. So so Braun across the board. Next one that we're kind of reviewing today is the women's War Games match. Who we have? Give me a sec. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, Bayley versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. We have this giant match that really makes no sense whatsoever, in my opinion. Like, I've really been trying to get this to math. You have multiple people on the same team who have been feuding going into this match. You had Liv and Raquel feuding against Nia and Tiffany. You had what was the other one? Io and Bianca feuding like just seconds ago. Bianca absolutely hates Bayley. There is just a ton of animosity in this one. This might as well just be a 10v10 in my opinion, except for Rhea, because no one wants any of that. No one wants that. And I think she's hyped for this match. I am pretty excited for this one. This was the one match we didn't talk about beforehand, because I feel like it was the other one that was like, oh, I'm going to pick the one with 10 people on it. And I really am excited to see the spots. I'm really excited to see the build of Liv dodging Rhea throughout this entire match until that one penultimate moment where she gets her hands on her. That's going to be a lot of fun. You got 2 world champions on one side, and you got none on the other side. I know you got a tag team champion on the other side. I think Candice LeRae seems really out of place in this. I think.
Hey, that's your speed champion.
Cool.
Yes, it's actually exactly what I wanted.
You got Io Sky, who feels really out of place in this match. Like, she's part of a faction, and none of her faction mates are in this match at all.
Nope. No.
Isn't she on the same team with the faction mate she betrayed?
Yes.
Io Sky. I didn't even pick that one up. Io Sky and Bayley are going to have to coexist, like it ain't no thing. This match makes no sense to me whatsoever. Like, I don't get it. But long story short, I have some predictions for later in the show, which really is helping me choose which one this one is. So I think we're going to have Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae going over here. Team heel or team Liv, I guess we call it. Team Liv. You got 2 world champions. You have Tiffany Stratton, Money in the Bank winner. You have a lot of people who are over. I think they're going to be the team that's actually able to work a little bit more cohesively than all the animosity that you have between Bianca, Io, Bayley, even Naomi, like Io, Bayley. Like, there's just so much in there that'll get away. That's just going to get in the way. Even though Candice LeRae is the perfect person to take the pin in this match. So I'm going to go with Team Liv to win this one. Not handily. There's going to be some crazy stuff that goes down. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The one person I'm most excited about to see in this match is Tiffany Stratton. I think she's going to do some really cool things in this match. She's going to be the one that stands out. Like, at the end, we're like, who is the star of this? You're going to talk about Tiffany and obviously Rhea, because I feel like everything Rhea does is gold. So go Team Liv. Steven.
So, something new and completely different. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to be the all-star of this match.
Yeah.
No, I do agree with that. I think I was actually going to ask you guys, because this is the first time we're going into a pay-per-view that we're not wondering whether or not Tiffany is cashing in. Like, no one is thinking Tiff's going to cash in. So, we all 3 of us constantly say about subverting expectations. No one is expecting it this time. Is this the time to have Tiffany cash in at some point during this?
If Tiffany cashes in and wins the title, does her team win?
I don't know. This is actually the one time I would have her do it after, like how I said she was going to cash in the middle of Crown Jewel. I think she should. I think this would be after the match. I think I could see this being a situation where I do agree with you. I'm going to go along with this one as well. I think the heels win this one. I think Liv, Raquel, Nia, Tiffany, and Candice all win this one. I think Rhea is left standing strong during this. I think we might find that I have my own theories about why Jade isn't in this as far as what they're going to do story. Yeah, well, I mean about the whatever the storyline is at this point.
Yeah, that Bianca put her through a car.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I really do think that's it. Especially like Bianca immediately after it happened was already in like her old gear.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't in like tag team gear anymore. I could see the reason why I'm saying is that Tiffany might actually cash in is I could see at the end of all of this, like Bayley jumping Nia or something like that. Like just during this whole thing, there's a schmoz even after the match, and Tiffany maybe gets it. But I'm not. Again, it's one of those where who knows. But I definitely think that I totally see the heels taking this one. I just think this is one of those where I don't think this is the babyface feel good moment.
The Team Liv wins. I think Naomi takes the pin if that's the case. They'll do Naomi that way.
Yeah.
Hound, where are you sitting in this match? In this mayhem?
This chaos. It's chaos.
So to have an original thought.
We can't keep using the same jokes.
It actually is original.
Yes, we can.
Nice.
Yes, we can.
We have a tried and true track record of Io Sky being the star of women's War Games matches, and I believe that continues. Not that Tiffany won't look phenomenal, but Io is going to shine like she does every other time. She is one of the absolute best on the planet by a mile. She's so incredibly good. I think we're going to see some really good stuff between her and Candice in there. I think you're going to get to them because Candice LeRae is slept on and people don't realize how damn good she actually is. The heels 100% are going to win this match. Now, as far as the Tiffany thing goes, the only way Tiffany cashes in is if the heels lose. And it would be Nia taking the pin from whoever or Liv taking the pin from whoever. It's not going to be Liv because they're building Liv and Rhea for Mania, obviously. But so if Nia were to like take the pin, or, you know, even if she didn't, if she's trying to hobble out of there at the end because somebody, you know, gimmicked up her knee, that's the only time Tiffany's cashing in. I don't think it's post win, although that would be fantastic if the ending shot is them with all their hands raised and then Tiffany just turned around and waffled Nia with the damn briefcase right after the win. That would be awesome, but I just don't think that'll happen that way. But yeah, I do think it's going to be the heels winning this. So Team Liv Morgan.
You have Tiffany cash in on Bianca and becomes the new tag team champions.
Yes, I'm in. So
what a way to translate. I mean, it's not worse than like cashing in for the U.S. title.
It's not. So this is actually where I'm going to disagree with what you said, Showtime. I don't think Naomi takes the pin.
No?
I think Bayley takes the pin.
They like to snub Bayley, but they don't usually put her down like that.
I think Bianca turns on her.
That's
what I'm saying is we're going to find out somehow during this, we're going to find out that Bianca put Jade through the car. Bayley's getting painted as the red herring of this whole thing. And Bianca hits Bayley with the KOD, and then like Tiffany hits like the prettiest moonsault ever on her.
I want to see Io do something terrible to her too. Like, there's no reason those two. Like, we have their names next to each other on this, and I'm like, that's too close. they got they got some unresolved issues here, and I just don't see how this works.
Exactly. It's going to be fun, and I think the
Because
best part
wrestling?
about this, well, because wrestling, and because there are so many potential elements for chaos that we could be completely wrong and happy about it.
Sure. I'm really for a good game and a good match, and I'm glad that you called out Io there, Hound, because you're right. We didn't mention her ahead of time, and that was a good call out. She's gonna be phenomenal in this match. For our next match, we have
Next match.
the World Heavyweight title. We have the champion Gunther versus Damian Priest. Steven, where's your head at, bud?
I love Damian Priest, but I don't see
You gonna
Gunther.
dog your boy here?
I think with the way that they're telling the story with Gunther, this is going to be. It's not going to end up being that his confidence is shaken. I think it's going to turn into he's going to snap during this match, and we're going to see the most vicious version of Gunther that we've ever seen. And unfortunately, I think Damian Priest is gonna end up being the recipient of that viciousness. So
Man,
I think Gunther,
even after he put you in his documentary, dog him like that. Man.
No loyalty in this world.
You know what, Hound? I should
No
kick you in the
loyalty.
shin.
I mean,
Thumb
you could
right in the eye, buddy.
You could do that all you want. You still have no loyalty.
Yeah. I have integrity. Integrity.
I have friends. Poking in the eye.
Journalistic integrity. We're not real journalists.
Hound, where are you at in this match, bud?
Hound doesn't need to have loyalty in this.
I'm loyal to Hound. How dare you?
Exactly. I'm loyal to Showtime. Always have been.
You're both jerks. Big surprise. You're in a room full of jerks.
You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. But
I think when the majority is on the same page, it's the other one.
So I really fear we're all going to have parity right now, and we're all picking the exact same. So part of me wants to throw the damn picks just so that way there's some change. But I don't see a world where Gunther loses this title before Mania. I think this match will be incredible. I think Damian Priest and Gunther are going to go, hey, we hit each other really, really hard, and they're going to put on a fantastic match because their first one was fantastic. So much so, I was shocked that Damian Priest split Gunther's chest open and not the other way around.
Yeah.
But yes, it's going to be very good. I don't think Priest comes out looking any worse for wear. But then again, I don't think anybody looks worse for wear or weaker losing to Gunther because he is just such a damn animal. So I will take the ring general.
I see what you're saying there. I like the narrative that Priest has his number. Like where he's undefeated, like he's undefeatable essentially. Sammy got lucky, and then he had his comeuppance. Damian had Gunther beat before the Judgment Day got involved and double-crossed Priest. And I love the narrative where there's just one person that he can't get over on. And Priest is the perfect person for that. He's big enough. He is scary enough. He does all the things right. So like, I like that narrative a lot, and it makes me want to pick him. I also like the fact of them having a rubber match, the title going back to Gunther, and then we're in a situation where he then has the world title at WrestleMania, as you just said, Hound. All of that said, I think Gunther's going to win that. I'm just trying to find ways to like make this more fun because as we are picking it right now, I will say this is one of the most boring and predictable matches. The way we're kind of throwing this out here, I want everything to be different, except for the War Games match. I like the War Games match ending the way it is, but I actually kind of want Shinsuke to win. I would like to see Sheamus win. I'm not upset with the Braun win. I want Team Liv to win, and I kind of want Priest to win just to make things spicier. Maybe
kind of shake up the world a little bit. But I mean, this goes along with what Hound's been saying for weeks now. We're in this like palate cleanse of wrestling right now. Everything's kind of a little blah right now.
Why is there gonna be so much parody? I mean, like the AEW is a hot mess right now. Like they are a hot mess. That's not a palate cleanser. And this is one of the big four. These storylines aren't built enough for me. Like I don't know. This whole Survivor Series War Games thing, it needs a little bit more. Like we don't even have Cody on this card.
No, because he's on Saturday night's main event now.
Cool.
I'm actually quite happy Cody's not on the card, because if you had him there, like I've been saying for a while, you need to keep him away from the bloodline, and this is everything bloodline at the top. And to have Cody there too, even if they're not involved, that's still too bloodline adjacent.
I hear you, and I agree, but Shinsuke versus LA Knight to start this off, and I don't know if that's going to be the first match. It probably won't be. It'll probably be the women's.
I think it's going to be the women's War Games.
Or it's going to be Gunther Priest. Either like those will be good ways to kick it off, but I'm excited about Gunther Priest, and I'm excited about the men's War Games. Even the women's one, it just is literally just slapdashed. It's I like that match, not because it's built well and there's a lot of tension. It's the fact that it's just I threw everybody in a hat and pulled random teams. Everybody hates everybody. Let release the hounds. Go. Just go.
He's
nuts.
Up there. He's right there.
Oh man. Not the hound.
Oh, I thought I had been unleashed.
I could see you having
I was like, Takeshita's not on this card. Takeshita's not here.
For what's clearly going to be the main event, I think this one is pretty given that the men's War Games will be the main event. Though, if they started with this, I'd pop. You have Roman Reigns. I love how you wrote the Usos in here. I feel like I have to say Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso because they're not together. They'll come down separately. Sami Zayn, the trustable Sami Zayn.
So trustworthy.
And the even more trustworthy CM Punk. The faces, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk, the faces versus Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Big Bronson Reed, who is a heel because he hurt my R-Truth, and I don't like it.
That is true.
And another kind of head scratcher of a match. I feel like Bronson Reed and CM Punk's are just kind of slapped on. Though I do like the way CM Punk got entered in with Heyman's return. Like that was well done. I really like that. But Hound, why don't you kick this one off? What are you seeing with this main event?
Okay, so we need to, I guess, kind of add a caveat because there is a rumor floating out in the ether that might not be the lineup when we get to the pay-per-view. So I think we need to put that rumor out. I think we should kind of pick that rumor on the back burner too, because the rumor is Bronson Reed's going to get taken out and he's going to be replaced by one final boss.
The Rock. So much better than Bronson Reed.
So if it remains as is, if you do not have Team Roman, Team OG Bloodline, and I found out, I hope I'm wrong, but I found out what CM stands for in CM Punk. And it's not, I was like, it's got to be Chicago made. No, apparently it's Chick Magnet.
Oh, I think I have heard that.
So I think it's going to be, if the lineup stays the same, it will be the OG Bloodline and one Chick Magnet Punk taking the win. And I think it's a pretty given who's going to take the pinfall, and he'll probably botch the pinfall too, and that's Tonga Loa.
I almost said, how are you getting Tonga Loa out of this match? It's not Bronson Reed that falls out. So Hound, I see. I want to unpack The Rock returning.
Okay.
I love where it's at. The only way that this happens is if on SmackDown, Bronson Reed is taken out. It's not during the show, because there is absolutely no way that you keep The Rock returning to the ring in War Games and not tell every single person about it. That is such a draw that they're not dumb enough to keep that a secret. Like, if you leaked it, and I know, I actually hadn't heard that rumor yet, which I'm usually pretty good on being on top of the rumors these days. And so, I haven't heard it. That means that it's not necessarily fully out there in the ether. They need some really big leaks. They would need Solo talking to a mystery person. They would need somebody somewhere, even just a social media post of The Rock saying, "I'm gonna be there." I'm not wrestling, but I'll be there at Survivor Series. You need something to give the people an indication to tune in, because otherwise it's just a wasted moment. Not that people aren't going to tune into this; they have great ratings right now, but you really need that. So, good.
Well, that's the thing, is I believe, and again, I don't think it's actually going to happen. I think we're going to have the card stand as it is. It's just that is something that I had heard, and I'll reveal my source right now. I don't care. It was one stevezapf.
He's a liar.
He put it in my ear.
He's about as big of a face as Sami Zayn.
This is true.
Man.
That is untrue.
I have it with.
Just saying, I heard the rumor.
See, but you put it in my ear, and I figured I would present it here because it would be an interesting.
I also said that our theory is that WWE throws a lot of fake news out there,
and that's fine. That's completely fine. It's actually a good thing to throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what breadcrumbs people will follow in error. It's a really, really good idea.
Yeah, they started doing that a while back, where they start you'll hear a really big rumor come out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, that's false. That's fake news.
See, it would be cool to see it happen, and if it did happen, but if it was Seth Rollins took out Bronson Reed on SmackDown, you would get The Rock returning on SmackDown and standing tall over, it might be with him smacking around CM Punk or smacking around Roman or whatever it is. Probably won't happen. But it would be super cool if it did.
It makes a lot more sense because of the heat that CM Punk and The Rock have already.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone talks about The Rock stealing all of CM Punk's WrestleMania main events and all of his main events here and there. So, so there is that built-in heat. I don't know if I said it out loud. I'm with you, Hound. OG Bloodline wins this. It's the main reason why I think Team Liv is going to win the earlier one, is because we're going to have the faces go over here. Now that doesn't mean much. The Team Rhea could go over, but OG Bloodline, I think that they have been building towards this. This isn't over after this. This doesn't put a pin in them because of the new Bloodline has their wins, so there's still more to build with this. Though the animosity between Roman and Jimmy and Jey Uso, the animosity between Sammy and Jimmy, CM Punk just not giving any cares. There's a lot of pandemonium to be had in this match. Steven, where are you at? You're going to say Tonga Loa is going to win this one? He's
obviously
he's going over big.
The legend,
the
goat. He's one of the goats. Martin Luther King Jr. They're all the goats, man.
He accidentally pins Roman Reigns.
Yes, like he's not actually supposed to go over. He just accidentally does it. So I also want to get your guys' theory or your opinion on this one, because this has been a real theory, is that Heyman is going to turn on them. I don't think that is going to happen. I just want to find out what you guys think on this one. Obviously, if you guys are picking OG Bloodline, you don't think that Heyman's turning on Roman and the rest of them.
It could still happen where like Punk double crosses Roman because he shows his true colors, and it goes that route, and then the OG Bloodline could still win it. So I could see it happening. It just doesn't make any storyline sense in my mind. Like they put a beating on Paul, and it wasn't like if he was just kicked out and not like put on the shelf, there's a whole different conversation to be had here. But they roughed him up bad for that, and that's not really Heyman's style. He's the weasel, and he'll double cross you. Like I always go back to him with Paul White double crossing Brock Lesnar. Like just no one seeing that coming whatsoever. That's more his style than kind of getting his hands dirty in this after getting really worked through. So I'm gonna say no. I think that's not going to happen because, but I could see things. I could see like CM Punk, or even honestly, I mean, I know Jay is so over, but no, it's Sammy. Sammy's going to ruin everything here for them. If they're going to lose this, Sammy's going to double cross them. And CM Punk's not going to care. Like he doesn't even care to get his hands on any of these guys. Like he's got no animosity towards anybody here. Sammy goes heel, joins Solo, because Solo's the only one that's ever been nice to him.
The real reason everybody's thinking, Heyman's going to turn is because, wouldn't it, it feels like the predictable swerve coming. And the fact that Heyman did come out wearing very Solo-esque colors on SmackDown, black suit, red shirt. So people are like, ooh, was there subliminal messaging there? If Heyman is going to leave Roman, he's leaving him for CM Punk. Mm-hmm. And it may be for those two to reunite and have CM Punk do his like last big in-ring run with Paul. I don't believe we're going to be having some joining of the forces between the CM Punk and the Bloodline going forward. In fact, I could see, a custody of Paul Heyman match, if you will, occurring between Roman and CM Punk at this point, in the not too distant future.
Paul Heyman on a ladder match.
Paul Heyman on a pole.
Custody of Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes,
but no, it's like it's one of those things where it's obvious enough that it's too obvious that it's not going to happen. But if it did, it was obvious it was going to happen. If that makes any sense. I know what I tried to say there, and I think you know what I'm going for. But
it's weird, but that did actually make sense.
I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that you know. I get
Perfect.
it. Nailed it.
So I don't. The reason I don't think it's going to happen is I think if Heyman was going to turn, he wouldn't have come with Punk. I think he would have come with like another family member or something like that, and that would have been the turn. Bringing in Punk, he's so, regardless of what we think, the fans think that CM Punk is a babyface, and he's so over right now that Heyman bringing Punk in and then turning would be like going against the grain. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I will say the best next client for Paul Heyman is clearly Jacob Fatu. Like Jacob Fatu with Paul Heyman is money. There's a lot of money to be had there.
I could definitely see that, but I still just don't think it happens here. Yep. I think it happens.
Me either.
Further down, especially since Jacob's not the one who took him out, so he has no real beef with him. I will agree with you guys. It is going to be an OG Bloodline night. I think. I think with everything that we've got going on here, we need this kind of feel good by the end of this, and this is going to be the feel good. The everyone standing with the ones up. See what we're doing with CM Punk. See if we maybe move him over here from now on. Who knows? But I think this was we're gonna find out that maybe CM Punk and Roman are going to have a custody battle for Paul Heyman. I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't have full parity across. That's boring. I'm changing my Intercontinental title pick just so there's at least a potential for things. I'm going to say Sheamus gets it. There you go. Change mine to Sheamus. I'm probably giving away the win right there, but we can't have parity the whole way through.
I agree. I won't change it for that reason. There's the reason I'll change anything here is if I see some go home math on
SmackDown.
On SmackDown, we'll see how it works. I applaud you, Hound. That's why I never make fun of you for falling behind in the standings because you have the guts to take risks. Unlike Steve, who's so far behind, and it's just because he's bad at his job. But you got Hound, you got the gumption, and I applaud you. And everybody,
and Steve didn't applaud. See,
I didn't applaud. I'm not applauding this one.
Because sour loser.
Yeah, I
less
am.
of a face than Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
that's not true. I'm just less of a face than CM Punk.
Why don't the two of you go bury El Generico somewhere, and then we'll move on. So, as a little recap, and the parody abound, we have LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We all have LA Knight winning. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental title. Steven and I both have Braun. This is 2 back-to-back shows, Steven, that you and I are full parody, and that is gross. You have Sheamus winning Hound. In the women's War Games, we all have Team Liv, Team Heel. The Gunther Damian Priest match, we all have Gunther. And in the men's War Games, we all have the original Bloodline going over. And Paul Heyman not double crossing it. That's the show. It feels very predictable. This is probably the least excited I've been for a WWE event all year. Because the build isn't there, except for the men's War Games, where it gets just a little dicey with some of the people. I just wish it was 4-4. Like, just made it 4-4. You didn't need the 5th person. Like, it just makes sense. I am excited to see how they can prove me wrong. Let's see Shinsuke walk away with the U.S. title. I'm rooting for your Hound. I hope Sheamus gets that title. I hope Tiffany Stratton cashes in on Bianca Belair, just because why the hell not? Damian Priest goes over, and somehow Tangaloa botches the ending and pins Roman Reigns for the win on accident.
I'm in for it. I'm okay if we all get everything wrong because of this.
Change my answers to that because that's the way it should go down. Thank you all for watching with us today. Remember, we would like to see your picks in the comments below. Check it out. Tell us why we're right. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell Steven why he's picking too safe and how I'm really good at this game. Tell us whatever it is that you want to tell us down there. We appreciate you coming week in and week out. We really want to hear a little bit more interaction from you guys where you have it. So, and we will respond, we promise. Thank you all for another great episode. And Steven,
as always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.